Waking up at 5 a.m., reading a book a week, networking. We've all seen these lists of so-called millionaire habits, and honestly, I always thought it was a complete scam. It just sounds like advice from people who are already rich and have no idea what it's like to actually worry about money. The truth is, I was completely stuck. My bank account was basically at zero at the end of every month. Money came in, and it went right back out. I was working my butt off, but I was going nowhere. And I knew my financial future wasn't going to magically fix itself. So I decided to do something insane. I found the 7 most powerful millionaire habits and committed to doing every single one for 30 days straight. And the results were not what I expected, at all. What I found completely changed how I see money, success, and my future. This is what happened. Before we start, you need to see how bad things were. My finances were a complete joke. I had a decent job, but I had literally nothing left after paying my bills. I wasn't paycheck to paycheck because I had to be, but because I had absolutely zero self-control. My spending was 100% emotional. Feeling good? Buy something. Feeling bad? Definitely buy something. My Amazon driver and I were on a first-name basis. A budget was this terrifying thing that I just completely ignored. I'd tell myself, okay, only spend X on food this month, and then I'd just blow right past it. I'd grab takeout because I was tired or buy some new gadget on sale, and then I'd just refuse to look at my bank account for a week. My mindset was stuck on scarcity. I saw wealth as this thing for other people, like winning the lottery or being born into some secret club. The idea of me becoming wealthy felt as realistic as me playing in the Super Bowl next year. I was convinced it was all about luck, not about small things you do every day. And that was my biggest problem with all this. Can waking up early actually make you rich? Does reading a book really change your bank account balance? It all sounded like surface-level garbage, but a tiny part of me wondered, what if I'm wrong? What if it actually works? I figured worst-case scenario, I lose a bunch of sleep for a month. Best case scenario, everything changes. I went through tons of books and articles and boiled it all down to 7 insane habits. This was the 30-day challenge. Habit 1. Define my rich life and set a crazy goal. This wasn't just, I want to be rich. The rule was to write down in insane detail what my perfect life looks like in 5 years. Then, I had to set one massive financial goal for the next year. It's all about connecting your goals to what you actually want. Habit 2. Wake up at 5 a.m. every single day. This is the most famous and the most brutal habit. Some studies show that almost half of self-made millionaires wake up at least 3 hours before their workday starts. The rule: alarm goes off at 5 a.m., no snoozing, you have to get out of bed. The point is to give yourself a quiet window to work on your goals before the day gets crazy. Habit 3. 1 hour of learning, every day. Apparently, 85% of self-made millionaires read at least 2 books a month. So my rule was, spend 60 minutes every single day reading books about finance, business, or learning a new skill. No fiction, no scrolling on your phone, just pure learning. Habit 4. The 5-minute rule for action. This one is all about destroying procrastination. The rule is simple. If a task takes 5 minutes or less, you do it immediately. No lists. Answering an email, cleaning your desk, making a phone call, just do it. The idea is to stop waiting for the perfect time that literally never comes. Habit 5. Track every single dollar. This was the one I was terrified of. Most millionaires live on a budget, so the rule was to log every single purchase in a budgeting app. The $2 coffee, the pack of gum, everything. The goal was to see where my money was actually going, not where I thought it was. Habit 6. The daily abundance reframe. This is the mindset stuff. Scarcity is thinking, I can't do that. Abundance is thinking, how can I do that? The rule. Once a day, when I had a thought like, I can't afford that, I had to reframe it into a question. How can I afford that? This is supposed to switch your brain from seeing problems to solving them. Habit 7. One networking message per week. They say your network is your net worth. The rule. Once a week, send a message to someone I admire. Not begging for a job, but just to ask for advice and build a real connection. Those were the 7 habits. The rules were set. I was ready for a 30-day transformation, or 30 days of absolute torture. The first 2 weeks were actual torture. My inner skeptic was screaming, I told you so. The 5 a.m. alarm was my mortal enemy. For the first few days, I was a complete zombie. I'd drag myself out of bed, make coffee, and then just stare at a wall. My brain was offline. The urge to go back to sleep was insane. I wasn't having some life-changing morning. I was just tired and angry. Then there was tracking every single dollar. This wasn't just painful, it was horrifying. I opened a budgeting app and the truth was brutal. The morning coffee, the lunch I bought because I was lazy, the late-night impulse buys. It was a tidal wave of shame. In the first week, I discovered I'd spent over $150 on just takeout and coffee. Seeing that number was a punch to the gut. It was undeniable proof of my mindless spending. The daily hour of reading was a huge test of my attention span. I'm used to 15-second videos and headlines. Sitting with a dense finance book for an hour straight felt impossible. I'd reread the same page 3 times and have no idea what I just read. But nothing was as uncomfortable as the networking. Who am I to email a successful person? It took me 2 hours to write the first email because I felt like a complete fraud. I wrote it, deleted it, and rewrote it. When I finally hit send, my heart was pounding. I spent the rest of the week terrified he'd say no, or just ignore me completely. And the abundance reframe? It felt like I was literally just lying to myself. The first time I thought, I'll never afford a down payment, I forced myself to ask, how can I afford a down payment? My brain's instant reply was, you can't, dude, look at your takeout bill. It felt delusional. By the end of week 2, I was so ready to quit. This was the dumbest thing I'd ever done. I wasn't a millionaire, I was just a tired person with a spreadsheet of all my failures. My skepticism felt 100% correct. And then, something started to happen. It wasn't a lightning bolt. It was a slow, quiet change. It started with the 5 a.m. alarm. Around day 15, I woke up a few minutes before my alarm, and it was a different kind of tired. It was calm. I made my coffee, sat down with my book, and for the first time, I noticed how quiet it was. This wasn't just time, this was my time. It was a head start on the day, and I actually started to look forward to it. That hour of reading started to pay off. In week 3, I was reading a book on personal finance that explained high-yield savings accounts. The book laid it out super simply. I did some research and realized my emergency fund was earning literally nothing. In 20 minutes, I opened a new account and moved the money. It wasn't a fortune, but it was a smart move that came directly from the reading habit. That money tracking also started to change. The shame turned into control. Because I was now painfully aware of my takeout tax, I started meal prepping. Not because I had to, but because I'd rather have that money. I saw some new headphones online, and for the first time ever, I didn't just click, buy now. I actually stopped and asked, is this more important than my goal? I was finally making smart decisions instead of emotional ones. Then, the craziest thing happened. I got a reply to my networking email. It was from a marketing manager I really admired. The email was short, but it was incredibly kind. She shared some of her own experience and gave me some quick advice. It completely shattered my imposter syndrome. That one small connection gave me the confidence to send the next message, and the one after that. Even the abundance mindset started to work. When the thought, I can't afford a vacation popped up, I did the reframe. How can I afford a vacation? But this time, my brain didn't laugh. Fueled by what I was learning and the data from my spending tracker, it actually started brainstorming. It was like, okay, if you cut your takeout in half, that's $300 a month. That's $3,600 in a year. You could also start that side hustle you were reading about. The question went from being a fantasy to a real strategy. It was a massive shift. So far, tracking my spending has had the biggest immediate impact on my bank account, but the abundance reframe has changed my mindset the most. It's a total game changer. I'm curious, which of these 7 habits do you think you'd struggle with the absolute most? Let me know in the comments below. So after 30 days, what actually changed? Let's break it down. Habit 1, the rich life goal. My vague dream of being better with money is now a super clear vision. I know exactly what I want in 5 years, and I have a crazy, specific 12-month goal. Save an extra $10,000 for a down payment on a future property. It's not a wish anymore, it's a target. Habit 2, waking up at 5 a.m. I literally added 30 extra hours of productive time to my month. That's almost a full work week. This became my CEO time to read, plan, and work on my goals with zero distractions. Studies show early risers often feel more in control of their lives, and I can 100% confirm that. Habit 3, daily learning. In 30 days, I read 4 entire books on investing, habits, and financial psychology. This knowledge was the fuel for everything else. I learned about index funds, retirement accounts, and all the traps that keep people broke. It felt like I'd finally found the instruction manual for money. Habit 4, the 5-minute rule. This tiny habit had a massive ripple effect. My apartment is cleaner, my inbox is no longer a nightmare, and all that mental clutter is just gone. It built a foundation of discipline that made the bigger habits feel easier. Habit 5, tracking every dollar. Okay, the big one, the numbers. Last month, I probably saved less than $200 by accident. In these 30 days, by tracking every dollar, I cut my mindless spending on takeout, impulse buys, and subscriptions I didn't even know I had. The result? I saved an extra $785. That's money I was just letting disappear. Seeing that number felt like I had unlocked a legit superpower. Habit 6, the abundance reframe. This was easily the biggest internal change. I started this thinking wealth was a game of luck. I now see it's about being creative and solving problems. My financial anxiety is still there, but now I feel like I'm in control. I feel less like a victim and more like the person in charge of my own life. Habit 7, weekly networking. Over the month, I sent 4 messages and got 2 replies. One was the kind email I mentioned. The other led to a 15-minute coffee chat with someone in my field who gave me insane advice for a side project I'm now actually building. This habit showed me that valuable connections are out there if you're just brave enough to hit send. So, after 30 days, was I wrong? Is the millionaire mindset a real thing? Yes, I was completely wrong, but it's not magic. The power of these habits isn't in any single one. Waking up early doesn't magically make you rich. The power is how they work together as a system. Waking up early gives you time to read. Reading gives you the knowledge to manage your money. Tracking your money gives you the data to make your abundance mindset practical. Networking gives you connections to act on your ideas. It's a feedback loop. They aren't millionaire habits because they mystically make you rich. They're habits that build discipline, knowledge, and focus. They turn you into someone who is capable of building wealth. It's more of a psychological challenge than a math problem. The biggest change for me wasn't the $785 I saved. It was the feeling of being in the driver's seat of my life for the first time. That fog of financial anxiety is finally lifting, and it's being replaced by a clear plan. You do not have to do all 7 of these at once. That's insane. But I challenge you to try just one. If you want to see a fast result, track your money. It's painful, but it's powerful. If you want a long-term change, start with the abundance reframe. My journey is not over. This is just day 30. This is just the beginning. If this video was helpful, smashing that like button would be a huge help to the channel. And if you want to see how I use these habits to hit my $10,000 goal this year, subscribe and hit the notification bell. My next video is all about the side hustle I'm building from scratch using this exact system. Thanks for watching.